Yo, what's going on, people? Daniel Blocker back at it again with another video. Just before I move on with today's video, I just want to touch upon the love that I've been getting on the last few videos. You might have been showing a lot of love, giving me constructive criticism, touching up on your own feedback about your experiences with the Undisputed game so far. And just in general with my YouTube videos, you've been very open, and I really appreciate that. I take feedback on very seriously, and any feedback is good, even if it sounds like, hey, I appreciate it. So thank you guys so much. If you are new around here, make sure to click that subscribe button, drop a like, drop a comment. We are on the way to 1,000 subs. That's the actual goal that we are going for, people. We are almost 20% of the way there, as we are getting into a fight here. Sergio Martinez versus Saul Alvarez. Apologies for the lack of videos in the last 10 days. I have been a little bit ill, as you may be able to sense from my voice, and I have been really busy with work. Yes, I don't just make videos. I have got a full-time job. So yeah, this is actually the first time I'm using the new boxers, Sergio Martinez being one of them. I've heard some of the things about the new update. I was going to make a video on the new update that was released. However, I was ill, as previously mentioned, so I didn't bother. I thought I would just wait and make a video here. So we are going into today's video. It's not actually going to be a boxer review, although it'll be a good trial for me to see what these what the new boxers are like. But today I want to touch up on one of the things that I've seen on the Reddit being discussed quite a bit. So I thought I will speak about it as well and get your opinion on it. What I want to speak on today is essentially a career mode wish list. Some of the things that I would like to see in career mode when Undisputed decide to release it, which we know will be at some point in 2023 based on the roadmap that they released. As we have all established already, there's issues with the game, but from my opinion, that is to be expected because it is in the early access stage. So, you know, it's to be expected. There are a lot of issues around cheating and spamming, but I think those will get better as time goes on. As we are landing some shots here. I like some of the shots that this guy's throwing, to be honest. Sergio Martinez. Body shot. Oh, beautiful combo there. The number one thing on my list as far as a wish list for career mode is actually a actual training camp. So I'd like to see an extended training camp feature, you know, where you go into a training camp, you select where you want to go for your training camp as you obviously progress through your career, instead of just choosing like a set of mini games to improve your stats. I'd like to actually like go into a more hands-on approach of training, sort of similar to how NBA is, you know. I mean, you go and then you do your training before games, and you can, you know, you go into an actual, you know, like there's a session for training. So I'd like that to be more of a camp, you know, like an actual camp that takes a little while before you get into your actual fight, and you get better as your camp goes on, essentially, rather than just you have, you know, a set of mini games and then you improve on your accuracy, you improve in your punch speed. I'd much rather just have like an actual camp, you know, and like the features of that to not just be mini games. For example, you could have like a sparring partner who adapts to your style or to the style of the... What just happened? Man, that's some bullshit. Anyway, as I was saying, you can have like a sparring partner who adapts to your style and challenges you in different ways, you know, that could mimic your opponent. And you could also obviously work on specific things with a trainer, or even hire like a nutritionist to help you cut the weight. So just things like that. I just want it to be as realistic as possible. And obviously, the nutritionist and like different coaches and everything, I think, will come on later throughout your career when you advance and potentially look at like much more, you know, high level fights, essentially, not right at the beginning of your career when you're fighting bums. As we go into another fight here, I'm going to touch on the second thing that I would like to see from my perspective would be like a good rivalry and relationships sort of aspect of the game, where you can build relationships and rivalries with boxers. I know that in UFC, for example, you can build like a little, you know, like you can have like back and forths over social media and create promos and everything like that. So I think if they were to take something like that, but to go in a little bit more depth, and you can sort of determine what kind of boxer you are. So if we look at some, like, polarizing characters like Floyd Mayweather, for example, what he used to do in terms of trash talking was polarizing, so being able to create that in terms of, rivalries, so you can be able to speak freely and say things they want to do to create more hype for your fights. I think that would be really good, because boxing ultimately is not just about the physical aspect. It's about, mental games, rivalries, relationships that, develop between fighters. I'd love to see a more dynamic system for these interactions in career mode. For example, your actions in and out of the ring could affect your reputation. So, like, if I was to, go at it with someone at a press conference, or, things like that could affect the way other fighters, promoters, and the media perceive me. And this could essentially lead to like more unique storylines and challenges within your career mode. I know there's limitations as to how much they can do. However, um, I'd like the aspect of like different things that you do will basically make your make each playthrough of the career mode feel different. Essentially, I know it's not gonna be possible, but similar to how like Fallout is, where you make one decision and that decision will determine how things go. And each decision could lead to a different outcome and a different storyline. Essentially, as we do go into another fight here, taking odds on who I'm fighting. Carl Froch. Carl Froch. A man that got plenty of hate over my last video because I was clickbaiting like crazy in that video, but never mind. Another thing that I'd like to see as part of a career mode once they release it, and let me just quickly say, I don't expect that once they release the career mode, it will be complete, or I'd like to think that if they do release something and some things are not there, they can maybe release updates that will add it later on. But another thing that I'd like to see is just more career paths. Of course, the final goal would be for you to, become a world champion, or, like a undisputed champion, um, you know, a linear champion, whatever it is, right? But there should be other opportunities and paths that you could explore. For example, you could choose to become a trainer, maybe a promoter, after you obviously retire. Because if you remember Fight Night, it shows you your life, like how much longer you've got in the sport. Like each fight will take a certain amount of damage out of you, and it will reduce your lifespan within your career of a boxer. So maybe you could become a promoter, a trainer, things like that. I know these things are like super out there, but it's a wish list, right? So I'm just putting the things that I'd like to have on the game. I just think that if you were to be able to become a trainer or a promoter, or things of that nature, you could have like your own unique challenges, opportunities, and it could definitely add more replay value to your career mode, rather than just once you become a world champion. Like I find in the UFC, for example, in the UFC franchise, once you become a world champion, that's it. I become a world champion, and realistically speaking, I'll defend a few times. You can maybe move up and challenge for another belt. You reach like GOAT status or whatever, and then you're gonna have to start again. As we finish that first round. As we go into the second round here, the final thing that I would like to touch on, and from my perspective, a thing that I'd like to see implemented in the career mode, would be proper injuries and recovery, because those are real part of boxing. Like those are actual part of boxing, being injured, being recovered, and going through recovery. I mean, those are real things within boxing. It would be great to see them being reflected in the game's career mode, because those are things that fighters go through. Young fighters, new fighters, old fighters, experienced, doesn't matter. They all go through them essentially. So I'd like that to be replicated. So a realistic injury mechanic that affects your boxer's performance and requires proper recovery time. Where you maybe have to do like incorporate actual proper recovery in your camp, or in your off time after a fight. Those would be great things. That a different type of strategy to the game, as you'd have to balance your training out and fighting schedule with your health and well-being, essentially. But yeah, those are some of the things that I'd like to see within the game. Please let me know what you guys think in terms of things that you'd like to see. like I keep saying in my previous videos, I'm gonna drop the link to the Undisputed Boxing Reddit subreddit in the description down below. Please join it if you have your own opinions on the game, because there's so many like-minded people in that subreddit with great opinions. And you know, it'll be good for you to discuss and share some of the pet peeves that you have with the game, because I can guarantee you we all share them. You know, if you complain about spammers, trust me, we do too. As I spammed like crazy there, but I almost hurt him really bad. We look pretty good so far. But yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. I'm going to cut now and edit it, so I will come back to you at the end of the fight with the result of this fight. So yeah, see you guys in a second. So guys, unfortunately, as you guys can see, I got my ass handed to me. The guy was much better defensively than I was. I was a little bit too trigger happy. I was doing some damage early on, but his stamina was just in a much better place than mine, and he started to get the better of me and eventually dropped me a couple of times, and that was all she wrote. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about some of the things I had to say in this video in regards to career mode, and let me know some of the things that you'd like to see in career mode, or if you agree with some of the things that I have said so far that I would like to see in career mode. But yeah, that's it for today's video. I appreciate you guys so much for all the love. If you are new around here and you have enjoyed this video, check out the previous ones. Drop a subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment. Appreciate you guys so much. Take care and peace.